Okay, so I'm back with my frosted glasses. They're right here. Okay, and also I want to show you. Remember, I told you, I was making my ginger beer, so I was making the pulp. I was boiling it with the pounded ginger, a little bit of turmeric, six allspice berries, six peppercorns, and three cloves, and then also two whole lemons that I blended it all up and put it in. One actually went ahead and used 8 quarts of water to 2 gallons. And that was the one I did in the pressure cooker. And then the other one I did on the stove and just leaving that 6 quarts, so 1.5 gallons. And I told you that it just brings out all these yummy flavors. And just to kind of prove it, while I was down here letting these things go, my wife was upstairs in the bedroom with the door shut, and she texted me. She says, "I smell some goodies cooking in the kitchen." And what she was smelling was this. Okay, this one right here is the one that was in the pressure cooker. So I only had half of this mixture in the pressure cooker, and then I poured the rest of the water in afterwards. So now I gotta let it cool down. It has to come all the way down to room temperature. And then this is the other one that was on the stove. Okay, same ingredients, but you can see the difference in how that one is and then how this one is. Okay, but yeah, that's just all that ginger, turmeric goodness. And a lot of people don't realize this. Like, I put peppercorns in with this drink, and that kind of adds some nice heat to it. But you gotta be careful. Some recipes call for up to like 30 peppercorns, and I think that's way, way too much, because we did that with our first batch, and we can hardly drink it. And we like things really spicy that bite us back, but it was just almost unbearable. And so, but it's important, especially if you use turmeric in a drink that you're making or something like that, to put some pepper or peppercorns in there, because turmeric is really good for your body. It releases, helps fight inflammation, and also is an antioxidant, and just has a lot of health properties to it. But the thing is, it's hard to absorb into your bloodstream. But with pepper has what's called a piperidine or piperidin inside peppercorns. And what that piperidin does, it helps your body to absorb, I think it's called curcumin, that's found in turmeric. It helps your body absorb that, and so it makes the turmeric more effective for you. So it really is important to combine those two together. And so now what we have done, we got ginger, which is fantastic for you. It has all kinds of health benefits, and so does turmeric. And we have those combined with the peppercorn and with the cloves and with the allspice berries. And so it's just really doing some great stuff here. All right, so here's what we're gonna do now. We're going to open some of these. This is the kombucha I made. And this is a kombucha. It was a green tea kombucha, so June Kombucha. And I'm gonna just slightly turn it upside down. This kind of helps to mix it all up because some of the goodness settles in there. And so this one is apple, lemon, turmeric, ginger, and hibiscus tea blended all together, okay? Mixed together, and then mixed with the green tea or the green kombucha, or the June Kombucha. So now we're gonna open it up. You can see it had a little bit of to it, a little bit of sound to it, and so you can see there's carbonation in there as I'm pouring this in. You see the nice carbonation, and see that color? This color actually is coming from the turmeric. Turmeric creates like this. It's actually, I think, in a lot of Native American places, the word for turmeric actually means golden plant or something like that. And you can see there's this golden color that it produces. And so I'm going to take a drink here. You can taste the turmeric in there, and you can't actually taste the ginger that much because I used quite a fair amount of turmeric in there. And but the apple helps it with a little bit of the sweetness. It's kind of a light drink, not sweet at all, because that sugar really got eaten up, and so there's hardly any sugar in this at all. Just barely sweet at all. And of course you have the sharpness, the June Kombucha, And I almost let this one go a little bit too far, so it was pretty sharp, almost like apple vinegary. But some people really like that. And then also I want to show you something here. This right here, you can barely see it, is a SCOBY. And so any homemade kombucha that you make, you're going to see those in there. So don't freak out, they're supposed to be there. And you can either eat it or you can just toss it out if you want. Okay, so this is a June Kombucha. Now, this is like the ginger beer drink that I made that has the ginger, has the same ingredients all in it, and that I boiled it just like I did this over here, and let it cool down. And then I added some ginger bug from my ginger bug here. I added some ginger bug, added a half a cup of ginger bug to 6 quarts of water. And then after it cooled down, I bottled it and let it just sit for 24 hours in a warm place in controlled temperature. Now, this is one that's been in the refrigerator for a couple of days. And I'm going to show you what happens if I try to open this. It gets so carbonated that, I don't know if you can see that, but it starts to rise to the top. And actually, sometimes it'll take me 5 minutes to open one bottle because of all that carbonation. And that carbonation is caused by that yeast eating up that sugar. And so it's just active. You know, it's kind of like a kid on sugar, really. A kid eating a whole bunch of candy and how they just get super active and super hyper. Well, that's the same thing with yeast. Yeast kind of likes this junk food. It likes this sugar, and it just wants to eat it up, and it gets really hyper here. So we're going to have to be patient with this, but I'm going to try, and my wife does not like it when I do this. I try to perfect a technique of being able to open it without it spraying all over the house. And but I'm going to use this as a backup because I'm going to try to pour it into the glass, but sometimes it foams so much that I have to pour it into a large container. But I'm going to give it a little prep again, as let it come up, foam up a little bit. You see it foaming up a little bit, and then I'm going to give it another little. Oh, look at that, it's starting to come out. See it coming out? So I'm going to let it rest just for a second. Oh, well, not a second. I'm going to let it rest for about 30 seconds. Once I let it rest for 30 seconds, then I'm going to pop it open real quick and start pouring it into my glass. Now, my glass is going to foam up so much that I'm not going to get the whole thing in my glass. So I'm going to use this container right next to it. Okay, so you're probably saying, is this going to happen every time I make this? Well, it will if you use as much ginger bug in it as I did. So what I'm going to do now, I'm actually, for the batches I'm making here, I'm going to use like a third less of the ginger bug. And so, because that ginger bug is what it causes that yeast to be activated and you know, inside this liquid, and it causes it to be agitated and really causes all that carbonation. So I'm going to use less ginger bug. So now we're going to try to do this. Don't try this well, I guess you have to try it at home, but I'm going to try to do it real quick and pray it doesn't just like spray everywhere. Okay, here we go. Look at that, see? See that? It still wants to keep coming out. So as it settles down in my glass, I'll come back over to my glass. Look at that. Doesn't that look beautiful? Talk about a fun, refreshing drink. Okay, now I'm gonna pour the rest of this back in here. And there we go. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's yummy. Okay, so I'm gonna take a drink. It tastes like a gingery lemon with a hint of a strong citrus, some other citrus. If you didn't know it was turmeric, you just think that you're getting some kind of weird citrus flavor in there. And so you're getting all that, but it just has a minimum a sweetness to it. It really does taste like a refreshing, sparkling water with a little bit of ginger and a little bit of citrus to it. So it's really, really good. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here, and we're gonna let these guys rest back here. We gotta let them get to room temperature. And then we're gonna add, I already got the ginger bug ready. I got a full cup of ginger bug here. So I'm gonna pour a little more than half into my 8 quart batch. And then I'm gonna pour the remainder into the 6 quart batch, because you can see with using 2/3 in 6 quarts, you see how much carbonation that built up after one day in, 24 hours in a warm place. So I want to cut back on my carbonation. And so the way that I cut back on my carbonation is by putting less ginger bug in there. So that's what I'm going to do. And so then we're going to make it all up. So I'm going to turn this video off, and that has to come to room temperature. So that's going to take probably about 3 hours to come to room temperature. So it's 240 right now. So I'm going to come back around 6 o'clock and see if they've calmed down to room temperature. Then I'm going to add the ginger bug. Well, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter all the pulp out. And after I filter all the pulp out, then I'm going to add the ginger bug to it, stir it up really good, and then I'm going to put it all in bottles. And actually, probably what I'm going to do while the video is off is I'm going to get some more bottles ready. I really have about almost 200 bottles, and so I use them over and over again, and I showed you how I cap them all and everything. So I have some clean ones already ready to go, but not enough. So I'm gonna put some on the stove in a big pot and boil some more. So I'll be ready to bottle all of this wonderful ginger beer. And we're gonna have multiple cases of ginger beer after I'm finished here. So it's gonna be a good time. All right, so this is Michael Walker. And remember what our motto is: don't knock it until you try it. I showed my boys that the other day on Zoom, and they half laughed and were half embarrassed, but they'll get used to it. Okay, well, hopefully I'll see you all again, and we're gonna keep doing some yummy stuff after we do these ginger beers. I'm looking at trying to figure out a good root beer recipe to use, and also I'm gonna be doing some things in the smoker and trying to do a little bit of experiments in the smoker and everything. So I hope you just stay tuned for all the yummy things that are going to come up in the future. All right, my Palaters, have a good day. God bless you.